Let's do some spooky reading. It's time for Halloweekend 4. Where have I been? Fabulous question. So for me, it's Saturday. I have had the worst pains with like cystitis. So after work yesterday and pretty much all of today, I've just been curled up feeling sorry for myself. We did go, my kids really needed to get out of the house today. So we went to the local playground. It was raining. So fun. So I've done 2 rolls. I can't remember if I checked in after my first roll, so I'm gonna tell you now. I did 2 rolls. The first book was yeah. So I did my roll as I always do, Wednesday night, so I could get my audiobook downloaded and ready for work on Thursday. Thursday is my long day at work. So I read The Scold Crow by Grace Daly. My role was, so I'm doing the Scary Dining Room this weekend, and my role was, I think it was a book new to your TBR, so I rolled to 7, and I had The Scold Crow as a, take this off because the light's reflecting really badly, as a ALC from Libro. So I decided to give that a try. Didn't know anything about it. I'd picked it up because it was one of the only horror books this month in the UK. Thought it would be quite scary because it was described as a self-deprecating, morbidly funny horror novel exploring medical trauma through Irish folklore, asking, can a sick woman ever be trusted? Yeah. And yeah, I listened to this whilst I was at work, and it was really good. It is out now, yeah, so it is out now, so I do recommend. And if you can do it by audio, the narrator was perfection for this book. So we follow Breege, who prior to the start of the book underwent some surgical treatment for what she believed, or what the professionals believed could be endometriosis. Endometriosis. I'm not sure. It doesn't sound like I'm pronouncing that right. When she was under, they didn't find what they were looking for, and they were basically like, we can't find any physical reason for your pain, so it must all be in your head. So she lost her job because she's so unwell. She cannot work. It's like she is chronically disabled. And like disability benefits are basically nothing, and she's struggling to afford her rent. Is like a really horrible situation. It is a true situation for a lot of people. That a lot of people don't realize, in the USA in particular, not so much here because we don't have medical bills to the same extent, but still, if you had a accident and became disabled here, you would still financially struggle a lot, because our government is, we're not that far behind what the US government is doing in terms of stripping away like help and benefits and aid for those weakest and most in need in society. So her mum has disappeared, so she's been legally written off as dead. She has a awful relationship with her mum. She's been non-contact for quite a while, and her mum was extraordinarily abusive, and Briege is still struggling to come to terms with that. She has a lot of therapy. She has therapy sessions and discusses what her mum did to her, and she's been outright told by her therapist and her best friend, she has like one best friend who's a ride or die, that her mum was abusive. What she did was emotional abuse, and Briege has no self-confidence, no anything really. She's like a shell of a human from what she went through with her mum in her childhood. So when her mum gets legally written off as dead because they cannot find her, I think her car is found in the bottom of a lake and they never find a body, so she is declared dead. And Briege inherits the household because she is the last living relative. She's got no siblings, and her dad died when she was younger. Or no, her dad ran away. Her dad left her and her mum. I'm getting mixed up with the book I'm reading now. Her dad left her and her mum. Her mum said he was cheating on her. That's the one. Briege inherits her mother's house, and she kind of doesn't have any other choices, so she moves into the house, and it's a new state from where she was living, and things start going quite peculiar. There's like a picture of Jesus in a corridor, and she takes it down, and then every morning it's back up, or she finds it in a fridge or something. But because she has to take so many painkillers and like edibles and things just to get through the day, she's wondering if she herself is moving it around in her sleep. Obviously she's not. And yeah, so her family, her mum and her dad, or her grandparents, whatever, were Irish, so this is very much Irish folklore horror, and it was done so well, and the main character was so funny. It really reminded me of like T. Kingfisher. So if you enjoy T. Kingfisher's horror, such as like the House of Good Bones, the Hollow Places, like those kind of vibes, I think you would enjoy this. It's a debut for the author, and it has a cat and a crow on the cover, so you could use this for a few prompts on the horror bingo challenge if you're considering taking part in that, the one by Sarah at Wicked Reading. So I finished that, and then obviously I needed another book for work on Friday, another audio book. So I rolled again for my next audio book. I cannot remember what I rolled. There'll be the clip. But I picked Butter by Asako Yuzuki. Primarily because my Libby hold is almost up, so I need to finish it. So I need to listen to it. I understood this book that it was about a serial killer, a gourmet chef serial killer in Japan, and just hearing that, I mistakenly assumed it was like cannibal as well, probably because I have a lot of like cannibal and women eating books on my TBR. So I thought this would be scary. It's not. I misunderstood what this book was about. I am enjoying it, but it was entirely not the right book for this prompt. but it's a 17-hour audiobook, and I'm halfway through, so we're just gonna persevere. It's gonna be the book we use for this prompt. It is about a gourmet chef. Well, no, she's not a chef, that's the thing. No, it's about a woman who used to take gourmet cooking classes, and then she had 3 boyfriends or male companions die that were dating her, like, in a row. And yeah, and when we start the story, she has been in prison for a year she was convicted for the deaths of these 3 men. And we follow Rika, who is a journalist. She is trying to get an interview with Kaji, who is the woman convicted, and Kaji has been denying and like declining all interviews. There's never really been an interview with her, and Rika manages to get an interview with her. Prior to being arrested, Kaji had a food blog that she'd been running for years, and she used to talk about the meals that she made for her wealthy partners. And Rika has been writing to Kaji asking to meet her, and Kaji's always like, no, she doesn't even reply. And then Rika sends her another letter and says in it, can you give me the beef stew recipe that was like the last thing she made for her last boyfriend before she got arrested. And then Kaji replies and puts her on the visitors like log or whatever, so that Rika could go and visit her in prison. And that starts a very strange like relationship between the two. This is like, from what I'm reading into it, obviously without reading an interview with the author, I wouldn't know what they were intending. It seems to be a book that's dissecting misogyny in Japanese culture, and it's doing it through food, and it's talking about how like every man that has come in contact with Kaji, and to be honest, every man that comes in contact with any woman in Japan, like, very much shapes and kind of controls them and their body, and the expectation of what they should be as Japanese women. So the media was so obsessed with Kaji because she wasn't stick thin. She looked as though she enjoyed food, and she did enjoy food, and she was not ashamed about it. And there was a like romantic and sensual element to how she enjoyed food, and it made the Japanese like culture, society uncomfortable, because she was a woman that didn't look how they wanted women to look, and yet she had all of these male companions, not only multiple male companions, but wealthy male companions. And yeah, it's very interesting how they use food to discuss this. And the main character who we follow, Rika, who's the journalist, her and Rika's best friend who kind of gets pulled into it, their kind of world starts changing a little bit through being in contact with Kaji, and it's very interesting. It kind of reminds me of The Vegetarian by Han Kang in some ways. Yeah, it's definitely a exploration of misogyny in Japanese culture. It makes you very uncomfortable. It makes you hungry. It's interesting. I can see possibly why I don't think it's got very high ratings. I think a lot of people went into it expecting something a bit more on the thriller or horror side, and it's definitely more of a literary crime novel. So yeah, that's it where we are so far. So it's Saturday night. I'm going to finish this book. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight. I've been primarily sticking to audiobooks because my physical book is Our Share of Night, which I've still not finished. I started that on the 1st of the month, as you know. So I'll have one more roll to escape the room. That'll be one more book tomorrow. Yeah. This is just going to be like a quick check-in because I think I'm roughly halfway through Darcy Coates' Whispers in the Dark, something. It's got the little creepy doll on the cover. Yeah. Dead of Winter, is that what it's called? I can't remember. I had this on my horror bingo board as a from last year. I'm still finishing up last year's. I give myself to the end of the year, so I'm like overlapping two of the horror bingo boards. But I had this in for dead person walking or something, like a zombie square, because I swear someone recommended it for this square, but I don't think there is like zombies in this, so I'm really confused. But Claire wakes up in a place she doesn't recognise, with like no memory of getting there or anything, and there's a man there and he's like, hey, there's a blizzard, you were in a car accident, I found you, I brought you here, I patched you up. She's got like some bandages, and I think he's done some stitches for her. It's like, the blizzard's still going, phone lines are down, we can't get anywhere, I don't have a car, your car's like fucked. And she has no memory of any of it. It makes me think of the Cloverfield sequel, the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put up a picture. I really liked that film actually, and I liked that you didn't know it's part of the Cloverfield universe till the end. Putting that aside, so obviously we don't know if we can trust him. He's a random man in the middle of nowhere, but I'm really enjoying the writing style. It's very fast paced. It's the first Darcy Coates. I anticipated I would enjoy her, and I think, depending on the ending, like assuming she doesn't fumble the ending, I think this is an author I could enjoy. So that's cool. Claire and Doran, where we are, they're really getting along. They have to, because obviously there's not much, like Doran's trying to think, because usually they don't have storms that last this long, and this has been like 4 or 5 days at this point. So Doran's thinking long term, so they've got a inside garden, so he's planted some vegetables for them to eat. They're trying not to use up too much of the, it's not like a generator, because they've got it's all done via a log burn, like furnaces is the word I'm looking for, and he's aware that they could run out of wood, so they don't have a lot of heat, the lights are off, they're getting all cozy together. If you told me this was a romance, I wouldn't question it, except Claire keeps seeing this old like woman who has her like ribs on show and stuff, and Doran either misses the old lady, doesn't see the old lady, or is lying, question mark. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far, and the reason I just came in to quickly tell you that is because I think I'm going to speed through this like right now and finish it, so I'll let you know in just a few seconds for you what I think. Let's do a little update, because there's always stacks of books on my desk, like I don't think I told you, I did like a midway through Voices in the Snow. I did my third roll to get Voices in the Snow. So Voices in the Snow was for Oh, yeah, number 6. Read a book with a cover you find unsettling. And now, little doll. No, thank you. But I never came back and told you about Butter. So basically, after I did my midway point check-in, I listened to about another hour. And then I thought to myself, I just don't want to keep listening to this. It wasn't that I was disliking the book. I just wasn't interested anymore. I feel as though I understood what the book was trying to tell me about women's bodies and food and how men dictate to women how they should act and eat and look far too much for people that don't know how to clean a toilet seat. And I think there was some sort of like mystery element, or like the crime element was whether the serial killer was a serial killer or not, like whether those men had just died for various natural causes or whatever, unrelated to her, or whether she actually killed them. And I realised I didn't even care. I actually don't care whether she did it on purpose or not. So honestly, I just DNF'd it there. I just kind of I got what I got what I needed out of the book. I got what I felt like it wanted to give, if that makes sense. So I did get to 67%, which was 303 pages of 452 pages, and I'm okay to call it there. I'm pretty comfortable with DNFing, and when I realised I just didn't care anymore, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm still counting it for the prompt though, because I did get over 50%, and it was the prompt by a BIPOC author, so it's disappointing that I didn't finish it, obviously, but I'm still counting it for that square. And then I rolled again and I got a cover you find unsettling, which was Voices in the Snow. I have finished it. What did I think? I really enjoyed this in the end, or not in the end, because there was no point I wasn't enjoying it. It had me questioning a lot of things. It gave me the vibes of so many other books and like media, which I really enjoyed. The kind of setup in the house reminded me a little bit of Starling House, in no way, just like the vibes. The overall, I don't know, what does it say in the synopsis, because obviously I don't want to say anything that's too much of a spoiler. Okay. All I'll say is that the Walking Dead element of it did come to fruition, which was good. This is the first of 4 books, and I do believe they all follow Claire, our main character Claire, so I will be definitely continuing with this as a series. It was fast paced, it was interesting, it was enjoyable, it kept me on the edge of my seat. I was questioning everything all the time. I think Darcy Coates could be an author for me, so I'm looking forward to picking up more by them. So then I thought, I still have, it's like 6 p.m. The kids are going to bed now. Whether or not they go to sleep is another matter, but I have time to read something else. However, I've left the room, and I was bothered that this was the first room I hadn't done the equipment or the ghost. In fact, I think in every room up till now I've done the equipment and the ghost. So I've decided I'm just going to try and do the equipment and the ghost, just as separate prompts. And I was looking at them. So for the equipment, this might be the first time actually that I've used the activity prompt, which is to do something to appreciate the season. I think going for a big long walk in the rain yesterday and looking at leaves and trees. Nothing could be more appreciative of autumn in the south of the UK. So I'm giving myself that one. I'm allowing myself that one. Now, Ghost. Read a book that you can spell scare on the cover. Next on my TBR that I was hopefully wanting to get to this weekend is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, with the author's name and the little tagline, which is oh no, it's not a tagline, sorry. Oh yeah, and the tagline, once upon a time I can spell scare. This is like a dark fairy tale. It's a princess who wants to kill the prince who married her sister because her sister died. And yeah, so she's on a quest, and there's a witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, a chicken possessed by a demon. It sounds like it's going to be fun, like a dark fairy tale twist. I have started it, only a couple of chapters in, and she has sewn together the oh, hang on, let me grab the book. Please don't fall over a stack of books are stacked very dodgily. That'll be what that is. She's sewn together a bone dog. So it's like the bones of a dog she sewed them together and he came back to life. I don't know if that's just her that has like powers or if that's something that anyone can do. But yeah, so I have this has finally become available on Everand as an audio, so I'll be tandeming it, and I will finish this tonight, and then I will have done equipment and ghost for this one. So the ghost and equipment completionist in me will be happy, and that will be 5 prompts this weekend, which I think every other weekend I've only done 3 prompts. Now one of them is a activity, and one of them, yes, okay, one of them was a DNF, but it's still like 300 pages. So I think this was a good reading weekend. I was not expecting to get a heck of a lot of reading done this weekend, if I'm perfectly honest. So I'll come back to you when I have thoughts of Nettle and Bone, but I am very much looking forward to it. I really enjoy T. Kingfisher's horror. I haven't picked up any T. Kingfisher fantasy yet. No. This will be the first like fantasy leaning book that I've read by them, and then I do aim on reading like Paladin's Grace and like that series at some point. I'm collecting these broken binding editions, so they have sprayed edges and a little thing on them. I do need to pick up the most recent ones from them that they have available, which is Hemlock and Silver, and I believe the 3rd one from the What Moves the Dead series, because I've not read that yet. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I'll come back when I have thoughts on this. I finished Nettle and Bone, and I loved this. I absolutely loved it. It was so funny, so atmospheric. It was everything I love from T. Kingfisher, but in a fairy tale scenario as opposed to horror, which I think I mentioned I usually read, or so far I've only read straight up horror from T. Kingfisher. So this was a delight. Scary wise, I would say there was just like one element that really creeped me out, and it was there's a landlord when they go into a town and they stay at this like lodgings house, and the one they get kind of directed to, they get warned that people want to leave because of him, and they're like, what is that? Is it like the landlady's husband or something? And they get there, and the landlady has this like puppet that sits on her back, and it has this little hands, this wire that it holds around her neck, and when she talks about things it doesn't like it, pulls the wire so she can't talk. She's cursed because like she poured too much of herself into the puppet when she was a child or so. Anyway, that creeped me out. But this was so sweet, and the little dog, the bone dog in it, has my heart. Bone dog, I love you forever. I tabbed this quote which I thought was really good. So this is when our main character is, I think, did I tell you about this? Oh, so our main character, Mara, she's a princess, and so she's the youngest of three, and her oldest sister gets married off to a prince from another kingdom nearby, and it's like a political thing, political alliance. And then her oldest sister dies, and then after that the next older, like the middle sister, is married to him. And in this time, Mara has kind of been training to become like a nun. She's just kind of keeping out of the way of all of the like political stuff. So she has gone to kind of like a nunnery, and she's just learning to just live a nice quiet life. She's just staying out of the way of it. And her second sister marries this same prince, and when her sister is pregnant, when her sister's daughter, so Mara's niece, passes away, trigger warning for, or content warnings for like spousal abuse, death of children, etc. This, definitely look up content warnings for this. Her sister explains to her that, oh yeah, her sister has bruises, like fingerprint bruises all over her arms, and her sister explains to her that the prince is extremely abusive, and that the wives are just being treated as like brood mares, and he killed their oldest sister for not giving him an heir. And so the middle sister says, you know, the only time he doesn't touch me is when I'm pregnant, but when I give birth I get it like doubly. It's awful. And she says the only thing that's kind of keeping her alive is actually just having daughters, because even though no children survive, once she's given him a son, she'll have served her purpose, so then he's got no reason to keep her alive. So Mara's like, fuck all of this, fuck you guys, fuck you mum, fuck you dad for marrying us all off to them. Because her sister points out, if I die, you're the next sister. And Mara's like, no, it's not happening. So she takes herself off on a quest to kill the prince. And so she goes to find this a grave witch, and then they end up finding a knight, well, like a former knight, he's a retired knight, a fairy godmother who was her fairy godmother, and they have like this demon chicken coming along for the ride. They end up with another little chick called Finder. They have Bone Dog. They're a nice little crew, and off they go. And they have to get through a lot of trials almost to get there, but you know, they persevere. So when Mara's on a coach to go find the grave witch, she's getting bothered by some men, of course, and a woman steps in for her, and she says, can't you see she's a nun? Why are you taking your temper out on a nun on pilgrimage? And the man's like, oh yeah, my bad, I'll leave you alone. And the woman says to Mara, tell them you're a nun right away. There's many a man who'll not think twice to mistreat a woman, but who lives in fear of a habit and a holy symbol. Might save you some trouble along the way. And yeah, I don't know how T. Kingfisher manages to weave so many like feminist discussions and narratives into her book, but she does it so well, and this was absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to pick up more of like the fantasy leaning books. I have Hemlock and Silver, and I have something about an evil mother or something on my shelf, so I need to Well, I've got Hemlock and Silver as an audio. I need to order the book to match my Broken Binder in edition. But yeah, so that's the end of this weekend. Again, I didn't really do much. I think I just have to admit that my weekends, I usually, in the winter, I just hang out at home with my kids. We go for little walks. That's about it. Usually I'm so tired. I don't want to do much out of the house. But yeah, so what did I read? I read The Scold Crow, which is really good. I think I settled on a 4.5 for that. I did DNF Butter at around 67%. I was enjoying it, but I got what I needed out of the book and I didn't care to continue reading it. Possibly I might come back to it, but honestly I think I was done with it. I got what I needed out of it. I think I'd understood the lesson and I took away what I needed. What was it I read? Oh, Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. I was about to look at, oh yeah, Voices in the Snow. That was really good. I think again that's around a 4.5, 4.25. And then this one, I think this will be a 5 actually. So that was a really good reading weekend overall. I don't know if you can hear that wind. It's so stormy in the UK. That was a really good reading weekend. Enjoyed it. Next weekend will be the last one. This month has gone by so quickly. I'm also doing a NetGalley November in which I am trying to make a dent in my NetGalley books. So some of the books I'll be trying to fit in next weekend will probably be a couple of NetGalley books. Yeah, so if you have joined me for this journey this weekend, thank you so much. Please consider leaving a like to help other people find me in the algorithm. Consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in watching my NetGalley November journey. And I would love it if you left me a comment, either telling me your favourite T. Kingfisher book, telling me what you read this weekend, or leave me some sort of emoji that you see on here, a skull, tree, chicken, thread. I don't know if they have an emoji there. But yes, thank you so much for joining me this weekend, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye friends.